Hello and welcome back. We're going to move on to water-soluble vitamins. And in this section, we're going to look at the different functions of each of the different ones. We'll also look at the functions of water-soluble vitamins as a whole. We'll talk a little bit about the variation between macronutrients and micronutrients, and then also between the minerals and the vitamins. And then to complicate things even more, we'll break down the different classifications of the vitamins. So we'll look at the water soluble versus the fat soluble. In this section, we'll look at water soluble. The next set of slides, we'll look at the fat soluble ones. Just as a recap, let's review the difference of macronutrients and micronutrients. For the macronutrients, we have carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. The micronutrients are the vitamins and minerals. So for macro, think big. We need macronutrients in bigger quantities. We need them in grams instead of milligrams and micrograms, as is the case for vitamins and minerals. They provide us with energy. They play big roles in our body. Micronutrients are more so the guys that are on the side. They assist various body functions, and they may provide some structure to the body. They are needed in smaller quantities, and they do not provide us with energy. Nevertheless, their roles are essential. Breaking down the micronutrients, the minerals provide structure and they assist body function. While vitamins, they don't provide structure, they just assist body functions and processes. So again, vitamins and minerals are both the micronutrients, but some minerals are going to provide structure to the body, where vitamins do not. The bone minerals, calcium, phosphorus, and magnesium, these all contribute to bone structure. And again, vitamins do not contribute to any body structure. They might promote metabolism of the bone or metabolism of muscle that helps to create those things and develop those things, but they don't actually contribute. They're not a piece of the body like the minerals are. The main roles of vitamins are that they help to metabolize nutrients, they promote normal cell function, they promote the optimal regulation of the central nervous system, and they don't actually contribute to these things, but they help to form the skin, bones, and the body tissues. There are two different groups of vitamins. We have fat soluble and water soluble. Water soluble, that includes vitamin C and then all of the B vitamins listed on the left side of the screen. The fat soluble vitamins, that is vitamin A, D, E, and K. There are some pretty significant differences between these two groups, and mainly because of how they're absorbed in the body. Water soluble, these are absorbed through water. Because of that, we're going to run through them a lot more quickly. So we need to consume these regularly because they're excreted very quickly. There's a lower risk of toxicity. We can pretty much have as many of these vitamins as we like, and there's going to be no serious consequences, whereas that's not the case with the fat-soluble vitamins. With fat-soluble vitamins, you have a higher risk of toxicity because they're stored in the body. They're stored in the actual fat. So you have to be a little bit more careful with fat-soluble vitamins. B vitamins play roles in metabolism. They serve as coenzymes, which help to spark reactions that allow metabolism to occur. For fat-soluble vitamins, if we do not eat enough dietary fat or if we don't have enough body fat, we're not able to absorb and to use these. So these are the main differences between the two. Again, water soluble, that's the B vitamins and vitamin C. Fat soluble, that's A, D, E, and K. Something unique to vitamins is that they're destroyed and broken down really easily. So if you expose these vitamins to large amounts of heat, like you cook them on a high heat, then they can be broken down. And by the time you're done cooking them, you're not going to have the same nutrient quality as you did before you prepared these foods. With minerals, not really the case. It's harder to break those things down. But with vitamins, they're easily broken down. So a lot of times raw fruits and vegetables are going to have more vitamins and minerals. All right, so what do you think? What's best here? Fresh, canned, or frozen fruits and vegetables? If you were to make a hierarchy, number one would be fresh, number two would be frozen, number three would be canned. But they're not exactly spaced out equally. Fresh, right off the tree, is always going to be the best. Frozen is a close second because what you're basically doing with frozen fruits and vegetables is you're picking them off of the tree or off of their source and you're freezing them right away. So you're pretty much retaining their nutrient quality. And then because you're freezing them, you don't really have to do much else. You don't have to add any preservatives. So you're just getting the fresh fruits and vegetables in a frozen form, and there's not much breakdown that's occurring. Now, when you have fresh fruits that sit out for a long period of time and they start to go not even necessarily bad, but they are overly ripe, then you're going to start to lose that nutrient quality and the amount of vitamins that you're going to get in that food. Um, for canned fruits and vegetables, you're still going to get some nutrients. You're going to get some vitamins. There's going to be a little bit more breakdown. So I'd say that they're a little bit further down in terms of their nutritional value, but they're still pretty good. If all you can get is canned fruits and vegetables, then you know what, that's not a terrible option. But the best are going to be fresh right off the tree, frozen a close second, and for many people, frozen actually is better. And then third on that list is canned. As a recap, we have the two main groups. We have water soluble and fat soluble. Water soluble are the B vitamins and vitamin C, and then fat soluble are A, D, E, and K. Quick check-in. Are each of the following statements true for water-soluble vitamins or for fat-soluble ones? First one, deficiency occurs easily. Excess is stored in the body fat. Vitamin C, vitamin K. This vitamin class has a greater risk for toxicity. So running through those, deficiency occurs easily. That's water soluble. Excess stored as body fat. Fat soluble. Vitamin C, water. Vitamin K, fat. Greater risk for toxicity, fat. In this next section, we're going to break down each of the water-soluble vitamins individually. We're first going to look at the B vitamins, and these largely play roles as coenzymes in metabolism. So they promote metabolism of various nutrients. They promote the function of the central nervous system, and they're also responsible for optimal cell structure and DNA production. First and foremost, we have vitamin B1 or thiamine, and this plays a role in sugar and amino acid metabolism. This next role is really important because it'll help explain what goes on in the case of a deficiency, which we'll go over in that next slide. So it's responsible for brain and central nervous system function. It produces neurotransmitters that act in the brain. Myelin synthesis, a component of the brain. It plays a major role in central nervous system function. Promotes optimal GI function, and then in the brain, it is linked to awareness, memory, coordination, sensation, and speech. Thiamine deficiencies in the United States are very uncommon unless there are extenuating circumstances that are going on that are linked to extra fluid loss or poor absorption. So poor absorption, we see thiamine deficiency sometimes in the case of severe and chronic diarrhea. Also, dialysis and diuretics, These are things that are going to flush out extra fluid in our body. And so that fluid loss can be linked to poor absorption of thiamine. Also, people who are alcoholics, they burn through thiamine a lot quicker. And so they're at a greater likelihood for these problems. Also, people that eat primarily unrefined grains, which is more common in, in third world countries. And the problems that are linked to beriberi, they include nerve function, poor motor control, impaired thought, and impaired speech, because thiamine is strongly linked to the function of the central nervous system and of the brain. And if you go to that last slide, what you see is a guy who's holding himself up with crutches because of that impaired motor control. He needs those crutches in order to be stable.